following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
Welcome everybody here to T2 of Division 1 for the 2025 MRE Uno tournament. We are here in Automotive April, one step closer to wrapping up the Spider region. As here today, we've got Bad Brad taking on Background. Tale of two different stories if we look at what these two went through back in T1. For Bad Brad, a very shocking early exit from that tournament. A lot of upsets took place in T1, so he was amongst one of many that were high-seeded that got eliminated early. He's looking for a bounce back as he was eliminated in a 1v16 matchup. On the flip side, we've got Background. He was able to do very well in his D1 debut, taking on Abion in a gentleman's sweep, a 13-over-4 upset. So a little flip-flop here as one's looking for revenge, one's looking for continued momentum. Should be a really good matchup here today. It kind of looks like the veterans have been able to figure out how to be able to come back from some of those upsets we talked about back in T1 here in T2. We'll have to see if that will be the case here today. I'm Seth Cole. I got Charles Sanford alongside me, pulling the double duty here today on commentary and on refereeing. And Charles, as we take a look at the resume of these two, specifically going back to the 2024 T2 finish, it's kind of looking similar, the stories of that coming into this, much like what happened to them here in 2025 back in T1.
Yeah, it's kind of threw me off a little bit. We have Background, obviously, was in D2 last year for T2. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. You mentioned Brad, looking for that rebound, and this was a tournament he did well at last year. I'm interested to see how Background's going to do with coming off at least getting a round one win. Needs to get further into a tournament to go and make sure that he can become a Super League threat, which obviously every player wants to be. And obviously rookie title on the line here for him if he cannot get the job done today.
Yep, we ended up hearing earlier that Gone kind of waiting in the wings to see what happens here with Background, see who's going to end up getting that rookie title. As we take a look here to see what's going to be coming up here on the Spider region here in the Suspension 64, we saw Caesar move on against M. Hard-fought victory there. A lot of those, we kind of called them the Caesar jabs during the course of that series. And he's now waiting to see who the winner of this matchup will be. He will be facing off against them in Tire 32. And a lot going on here today in terms of not only games, but those also streamed here on the MRE Uno YouTube channel. We got this one here coming up. We've got the Diablo region, Bo versus Laraju at 3 p.m. Then we got 7 p.m., Jesse Turner taking on Edward Zimbia. And then later on tonight, after dark, 10 p.m., Logan versus Dark Rain. Chamek and Austin Rogers right there in the middle as well. So half dozen games to be played here today. 4 of them going to be streamed here. And we're getting ready to kick this one off between Bad Brad and Background as we'll head down to the table here. Bad Brad obviously with the highest seed. He's going to get the home field advantage in the early going of this one. We'll see how that's going to play any difference into momentum between these two battle-tested individuals. Charles, I'll turn it over to you. Head down there to the table and let you get our first call of the day.
Okay. Brad, you've been here before. You know what's about to ask. Everything's on the table for you. What's the call for game 1? Okay, solid mid-tier 12. Whoops, typed that in wrong.
Go with the dozen to kick this thing off.
By the way, some of the fans got a good kick out of saying Ziemba as Zynga.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That last name kind of took me back a little bit. I was all of a sudden panicked, like, how does one pronounce this? It's not the toughest name I've encountered, but it was definitely a tough name.
An immediate color swap as well from Brad there.
That's really been what we've seen here in T2. A lot of people now adapting to the strategy of the rapid color swaps, ammo management, all the different facets that come into the style that we've seen here of Uno playing. Background going to just continue to run with the yellow for the time being.
Sorry, I'm just having to work on something from a match that was supposed to happen.
Little double play there from Brad to get a bit of an advantage here card-wise. And there's the color swap over to the green. Back to what we started at, the original color. See if Brad has any green in reserve. He was the one that initiated the color swap from green over to yellow. And he does. Little trips play there with the double reverse into the green 2.
And yep, green 7 now there for background. The Yepes card. Yepes in the channel with us. Another color swap.
First time we've seen blue this matchup. We're still waiting on potential red.
That would be what we need for Pandora's box. Both reverses already used up on green.
Background again, just playing it cool. We've had a double play and a trips play from Brad. We've yet to see
Another
a
double
chain play here. There's another one. We've yet to see a chain play from background. Could be trying to hold on to ammunition, but we're down to 3 cards here for Brad. So if he's got something in the tank, he might want to start thinking about playing it here, because we talk about you get down to that 3, 4, even 5 cards left. Somebody could have something for a finisher. You have to always be aware of that.
Yeah, we had kind of same mind there a little bit. I was thinking about the fact that could be just saving the ammo as well. Having to take a little bit of thought here as he slowed down the pace.
And
Oh,
fire back
wow.
with a double +2 into a draw, puts it on yellow.
Very
Draws it back
dangerous
even
throw.
at least though.
Leaves that stacking potential out there. Would be 6 cards if Brad has a +2 he wants to use here.
He's already used 1 +2.
And there's only 5 of them left.
Yep.
I say only, like there's
Only
5 out of 8.
Yeah.
Finds the second yellow 9 out of the deck. There's the second blue 9 out of the deck.
So background able to get out of yellow, which obviously it looked like he didn't have that after he had swapped the color over to yellow and had to draw.
Could be looking for the KT Classic, hoping that Brad doesn't have it.
Looking at least for a trips play, maybe more here with the double skip. It will be a trips play. Back to the yellow though. Nicely done there. Let's see if the number efficiency for background can get him off that color. He was able to do it before.
This tells me that Brad's not comfortable with the idea of going beyond 2 for his chains, because obviously he could have done the L7 inside the same chain if he felt comfortable with that.
Right. Maybe a case of not wanting to use all the ammo in one fell swoop. Kind of keep something back in case you need it.
Could be.
Oh,
Background wanting that blue.
Brad used the blue skip to the yellow skip to get back to yellow. That could have been twofold. One to ice out background, but also he might be out of blue and wanted to get off that color. Oh, he answers right back and says, nope, we're going back to yellow. I'm getting flashbacks of yesterday.
Background having to draw does not have yellow.
And now Brad can run in the yellow here, hoping for number efficiency that background won't be able to swap the color. Oh my gosh, he top decked a wild and brings it back to blue again.
Yep, that's 3 out of the 4 normal wilds now. We still have all 4 +4 somewhere in the deck. Plays the B4 to say before he loses.
The puns.
Well, I don't mind it. I mean, he's got Brad drawing, so now it's just a matter of playing some of the numbers, hoping that Brad doesn't have that.
Can you believe it took us this long to get into red?
Pandora's box is now officially opened. Red reverse gets the double play in there.
Draws back to within 1. As you said, with Pandora's box, we could potentially have both of them now in the vicinity of a finish, depending on what they've got.
Very easily could. Could be just a matter of who gets to run first.
Brad taking his time here.
It's too early for the power play, for sure, so that's what he's thinking. Might have had to try and make sure that he could line up a run.
That's probably what it was. A lot of times we see the lengthy time of typing could be setting up for, well, okay, never mind. I was going to say it could be making sure that they have everything correct in typing out a long chain, but he'll just play the red 6 down to 2. Background now down to 3. Does Brad have a finish with 2 cards?
Nearing or already passing the 7-minute mark of this game now. Let me just double check that. See what the okay, the timer's off a little bit, but
does Brad go to check, or does he have a finish? He goes to check.
okay, so now what does background have to be able to respond? Nothing.
Oh, nothing out of the red. Is this game 1 to bad Brad? Yes, it is. Only had numbers there at the end, but was able to run in the red to close it out. Brad, close battle there, a lot of back and forth, and then you're left with just numbers there down at the end. We hadn't bet in red the whole game. Obviously, you had a finish to the end in the red, but how nervous were you that the color swap could take place and basically take away that potential road to victory here in this first game? And how about that number efficiency there? We saw that back and forth between you and background. The blue to the yellow, the blue to the yellow, the utilization of the wilds there.
Yeah, like I knew when I saw that forwarding play, I knew I had to switch it because like I had 4 reds left. Like I did not think background would have a bunch of reds or like a run on red. Like, and if background did something, they wouldn't be able to. There was nothing I could do anyway. So I think like the obvious play was just go to red there. And also like earlier, I did not expect him to have another wild. And like, yeah, that just happens. But like I won. Like I was able to play around it. So whatever.
And we'll type a question
But
here
I
to,
was gonna say, yeah, just type the question at the background.
yep.
Oh yeah, the red 5, because like I saw there were a bunch of 2s that had been played earlier. There were no 5s that hadn't been played earlier. That's why I chose to play the 5 last. So like I did that for a reason.
Well, I
Sorry,
will
I'm
wait.
just trying to
Nope, you're
type
all
out the
good.
ping.
While we wait for
You guys are have to ping people for this.
while we'll wait for background to answer this question, I'll ask you another question here real quickly, Brad. Too, in the terms of we ended up, Charles made the observation that we saw maybe a double play here, a trips play there. There was a couple of areas where it looked like you could have easily gone for a quad or maybe even a 5-bagger, but elected not to do that. I brought up the question of maybe you kind of just keeping those other ammo cards in reserve in case you needed them based off of what background play. Was that the case, or was it more that you ended up having where you wanted to be able to maybe use some cards for offense but other cards for color swap?
Thing is, like a lot of my ammo just didn't line up. I got the 2 reverses, but like when I got my starting hand, I had 2 reverses that were the same color, a skip on a different color, the +2. Like I got the wild and the other 2 reverses later. So like I know I just push it when I got my starting hand, push it with the ammo I had there, try to get more ammo, force back when to play something.
And we ended up having background say he lost the coin flip of the card order. If he had had the red 1 before the red 2, then he probably would have won. He'd been able to get it over to green, which was actually the color that we started this game out with, and then we went back to it for just a brief moment. We didn't really stay on green all that much here in this game. He also says he knew he had worse cards, wanted to force Brad to draw or +4 him, would have had to Uno draw otherwise on both cards. So yeah, just a tough situation there at the end. I mean, both of them, honestly, when you look at it, Charles, both had the tough task because a lot of the ammo had already been depleted, and now it just came down to number efficiency to be able to get to the finish. Nothing to be able to chain a run along. It was literally just going to be one card after one card after one card, and just hope that you end up having the other side not swap the color over on you.
Yeah, and that's always the tough thing about when you have a hand like that. I've been in that situation where you're trying to almost have to hope and pray that your opponent either runs out of a card or plays into whatever you've got as a hand. And those can be some of the most rewarding and most frustrating games as well for a player, depending on how it ends up going.
Bad Brad fires the early shot, gets game 1, gets home field advantage here for the upcoming second game. Charles, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yep. So, Brad, you just can't use 12. What's it going to be?
You already know.
Yep. The OG send.
One floor up to 13. We'll see if background can draw it back even 1-1, if Brad can take a commanding 2-0 lead here. And I
again,
believe, I was going to say, didn't we start game 1 with a green 9? Did we
Let me
just go
look back at this.
Did we just go back in time? Is
Yes,
everybody
we
going to play the
did.
exact same cards as they did in game 1?
Is it a yellow 9?
Yes. Nope, it's red. Okay. All right, we broke the time continuum.
Okay. I see what you did there, Brad. Okay.
Wow.
What are the chances of that?
I don't know. If we end up having a green 9 start game 3, I quit.
Well, there's the DJ Curtis card. So we get to the red 5. Didn't have to wait 12 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it ended up being to get to the red this time.
Yeah, good point. Into red early in this game as background with the red 0 sugar.
Yep, on that cherry blast. You can get it at mre.com.
Brad 1 up. And the swap to the blue background, initiating the color swap this time. And Brad
Trips
now
1.
gonna go, yep, trips 1. So into the blue for the
Do we
first time,
get
into the
green?
yellow for the first time. Nope.
No Skittles this time.
No Skittles. So
Oh, we do have the
far,
Ditto Pie though.
interesting. We ended up having, the ammo usage near the late beginning to middle of last game. Start out this one, no ammo yet. We continue to run in just the regular numbers, some color swaps here or there, but kind of get the feeling that we might be setting up for a knockout punch on either side, maybe on both sides. There's a little double play from Brad.
Yep, with the Varigold skip into the 4, yeah. So from 1-4 to a different 4.
And there's another 4, but this one's got a plus in front of it.
Yep, that Dark card there, as we'll see Dark later on tonight, I believe, actually, against Logan.
You are correct. 10 p.m. in the Mustang region. So now background gets the advantage.
Well, there's
Brad
that green
back
one,
to-
just showed up late to the party.
Yep. Fashionably late.
I think that's actually kind of fitting to say that, considering that is Arya's card.
There's the other green 9. We may see that at the beginning of Game 3. Who knows? We've seen it twice at the beginning of the first games already.
Yeah, and we're out of it till we get a redraw. There's the Captain
true.
4, and fortunately did go the only veteran player to go down to a rookie so far. Into the half-off special.
Yeah, I was a part of that cap game. That was a wild one. That was a nail biter. And we're back into the red. Believe only one. No, 2 special cards have been played. Yellow skip from Brad and the +4 from background so far. Oh, a second!
That's 2 +4s for background. Oh my god, what a hand.
Brings it back to the green once again, down to 2. Brad now with 11 cards, and he'll bring it back to the red. Does
Like
that
it. I
ice
like
out
that.
background?
I think it might actually. Got a lot of the red numbers out of the way, unless he's got double skip.
It does.
Something.
Iced him out. Great play there. And now into
Brad
the Draw
with the
City.
basically.
Now, this could be one of 2 things, though, Charles. This could be that he doesn't have red, but this could also be that maybe he does have red, and with background still down around 3, now 4 cards, he doesn't want to run the risk of playing a card, a number, that then background can swap the color over to.
I think it's very much more likely as the other one, as background finds a red 6, could be a card he needed to get off of this. Brad with that half-off special just to counter it.
Top deck did not get background what he needed there, as he will draw once again. We'll see if Brad, now with the red 3, if this will give him some alleviation to maybe go into a color swap if he so chooses. And he will bring it to the blue. Background will run with the blue as well. Looking to see... Yeah, it just looks like really the color that Brad needs to avoid is green, because we saw 2 +4s by background bringing it to said color. Little double play there.
Yeah, and those have been the only action cards that background's really had so far, so
Right.
very much a number-based hand here again for background, which you can get past. It's not the end of the world. Just takes a lot of skill to go and maneuver it.
Background. Oh, Brad's going to go to the green.
With the green.
Interesting.
Could be trying to hope that background maybe didn't have green all the way to the end, especially with that draw now.
Yep. Yeah, we don't know if that blue 6 might have been off the +2, or if he had that blue already. Talking about background.
Finds the
Background
captain card.
down to
Sorry.
3. No, you're good.
Trying to look at where this could go. That was the other green 4. Still have 5 of the 4s there if Brad looks for a color swap. I don't think he would have switched to green to do that, though.
Yeah, you
Still
have
have
to
2 of the
wonder
plus
what
4s.
you got to wonder what Brad's got in green with him initiating that color swap over there as well, knowing that background utilized 2 +4s to get to that color.
Yeah, it was a bold move for sure. He had a reverse, so that's one of the action cards out of green. Still have 5 of those left.
Oh, look at this. Could be looking for check, and we do. We hit check with the 0 sugar. Does
Just past the
Brad
7.5
have
minute mark.
anything to draw him back?
I mean, we've got 7 of the +2 still out there, 2 +4, so there's definitely cards out there that can set background back a little bit. Just goes for a wild.
Chooses the color for red as well, and it is going to ice out background.
And it's a KT classic.
It is
Get him in the chat.
indeed. How about that? Second time that he's drawn background back from the brink of winning. And drawing the series even at 1-1.
And that's one of those things that you almost either have or you don't, and it's definitely one of those moves that you see more out of the veteran players where they're able to be more comfortable with it than some of the rookies, and I think that's one of the things that we've seen so far in this round 1. Just that difference of playstyle down in D2 versus up here in D1. Not necessarily worrying about, oh, well, I gotta play a card because I can play it. Play a card that maybe you don't have that color just because you're trying to draw them back.
I mean, really, the only card that he probably had to worry about there being the final card for background was another wild. Not even a wild +4, but a wild, because if he had had a wild +4, he would have been able to finish out the game when he was at 3 cards. So
Well,
you're running a
maybe.
very low risk there.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but we did see it in the Tapir game, actually, which was non-streamed, where Steven actually ended on a double +4, even though he could have then obviously ended it a turn earlier. So it's not like it's impossible, but just highly unlikely that it would have been a +4.
Background up to 7 cards. Brad at 9. No rapid Uno draw there, so he might have something to work with now in the red.
Or at least had background set back far enough to where he's comfortable with playing card. Yeah, he definitely was waiting.
I think you're right. We're at least at a quad. Looking for a 5 bag. +2 into the trip skips. Are we loading up even more? Okay, nope, we're going to end with the 5 bagger there.
And that was the other green 6. There's actually only 2 6s left in the deck that can be swapped here. So not even a bad card to play to.
And background even iced out on the green, so looks like a 2-color hand here potentially with yellow and blue for background. Brad now 4 cards away.
Yep, squarely got all the momentum now. Could this be split ammo even? Shades of Shamak maybe. Nope. Brad pretty truthful on what the ammo was there.
Color swap over to the yellow. Does Brad have an answer back? Does he have yellow to run with? Yes, he does. This is looking very similar to what we saw back in Game 1, where Brad used a lot of ammo in the middle of the game and then had to rely on number efficiency and controlling a color with numbers only at the end, down to 2 cards.
Just getting past the 11.5-minute mark. Probably should have done a log, but I'll wait till background's done typing. Marathon game 2 here for both players.
Does background play something defensively here? With Brad down to 2 cards, maybe set up for a finish. Yes! The third wild +4 this game, played by
All
background.
of them. Yeah. Three of the +4s have been played, all by background in this game.
Wow. And follows it up with the yellow 7. Now brings Brad. Oh, Brad, though, answers back with a little double play of his own. Opens up the gap again. Had it back to, what was it, 7-6, and now Brad iced out on yellow. Now the momentum shifts back to background. No, it does not. They're both iced out.
Good time for both of them to run out, basically. Yep. And on a color that's not... Well, it's got a little bit. It's got the 0. We still got 2s and the 3s there. But no 1s, no 6s, no 8s, no skips left in this color. So, some of the options available are diminished. Do have both the +2s, though. So, could be that someone's got a yellow +2s waiting for that connector color.
Top deck yellow 3 for background. We'll see if this opens anything up for either one. Draw it back even to 7 cards each. And a top deck as well, looks like there. Yellow 4 for Brad.
Gets the color swap to blue. Stays tied. Goes back to that pun.
Brad with the draw.
Oh, wow. So we've seen it before. We've seen it in past times where both players have the same hand. This one, it's almost they've each got 2 colors, but the opposite colors of the other.
It's been what? Red.
Background has blue and yellow, and then
red, green. Yeah,
got red and green. That's what it almost feels like, at least. Could be wrong. Now a blue 9 up to the top of it from Min. Had the blueberry 0 sugar there.
Brad top decks the blue 3. At this point, with it being, oh, there's the red. Okay,
Logan
so
3. Yep.
He did have something other than blue and yellow there. Brad into the green. This is where it starts to get dangerous, right? Because one wrong move in terms of the number you play, you could find yourself iced out again if indeed both players are too suited.
Yeah, well, I mean, background proving us wrong, or proving me wrong at least, had red and green in spades. +2 to set him back. Good play because background was down to 2.
Brings it back even. 4 cards each.
Still a lot of the +2s left.
Still got that +4 out there as well, and there it is. All 4
Background got all 4 of
+4s
them.
played by background. Wow.
I mean, if background can't win this game, now you've had all 4 +4s in this deck.
You also given Brad 16 freshies during the course of that as well. And he's going to go to the green. Going back to...
Which has so little bit in it. There's 1 reverse, both 5s, and a 1 and the other +2.
How many of the
That
wilds...
is it.
How many of the regular wilds have been played?
That's the second one.
That's the second one? It's really the only... the other two are really the only cards we can maybe potentially look at to
I s-
get us
yeah,
off
I
of
saw
this. We're
that.
going into a major draw city, I think, here.
Well, yeah, because let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 greens left in the entire deck.
Wow.
A +2, a 1, both 5s, and a reverse.
With
That's
30
it.
cards left in the deck here.
So either someone's hanging on to a +2 because they don't want to leave a door open, which is fair enough, or we're waiting for one of those greens to come out of the deck in the final 28 cards. Which, I don't know if you're Brad, do you really want that reset? Because now you would be able to lend yourself out there to the idea that background could end up getting a 5th +4 in a single game.
Yeah, it's a good point. So far, he's had the luck of having all 4 +4s in his hand at certain points of this match.
Going past the 17.5-minute mark of this game,
You
too.
said the word marathon. And both have been close a couple of times of being able to finish this thing out, but the other one able to play just the right card at just the right time to draw them back. This is the third, I think, draw city that we've been into here in this game.
I think so. I think you're right. It's at least the second for sure. There's the final green one. Which, by the way, and speaking of what's left, there's only 1 left in the deck, and it's in blue.
I was just about to ask you how many ones there were, because not able to switch the color here is background.
Yeah, there's both red ones, both green ones, and both yellow ones have been played. So, I mean, that's that high percentage play. Like, if you're Brad and you want to keep it drawing, why not play the card that's only got 1 left?
I don't want to hit the table button and see how many cards they've got right now. Okay, not as bad as I thought. 11 and 9.
Thank you for probably reading it off that way as opposed to the other way. You
I
could have
got
read
you.
that. Yeah.
I was expecting to click and see like 18 and 19 cards.
Oh yeah, I mean, we both clicked at the same time. I mean, the cards drawn now at 40-30 in favor of Brad. Or I guess technically in favor of background, depending on how you want to look at that. There's one of the green 5s.
Where are we at on 5s?
So we've got one in green. Actually, quite a few. We got both blue 5s. We have the yellow 5 and a green 5,
Okay.
as well as another red 5.
So we got more options there than we did on the 1. But still iced out his background. Still not able to utilize that 5 for a color swap. Let's see if Brad initiates it here, if he's got any of the 5s.
He might. This could be the DJ 5. I'm just gonna like predict that it's gonna be the DJ 5.
Wow. All right, what are the winning lottery numbers for the day?
Let's see. So 5.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go for 12.
Definitely not 1.
Definitely not 1. 12, 15, 19, and 32.
All right, you heard it here first, folks.
Probably picked too many in the teens, truthfully, but. So now get rolling. His background's got the red 8 and a 1 up this time.
Yeah, the floodgates now open. Swapped
Only
over the
one
green
run.
into the red. Now we'll see how long we run in this.
Well, probably for a little bit, I would imagine. Both players definitely full hands. Well, there's the other red 2. Gets a swap into blue now this time.
Drawn even, but Brad has the advantage with having the color swap initiated.
He's got what we call the possession arrow here. Because if they both play numbers the rest of the way, he would be the one to run out first. But that's the age-old question. Does someone have a run?
Well, the one thing they do know, at least at this point in time, is the only other cards that can draw them back before we end up having to reshuffle would be the +2s. All the +4s are off.
That is true. Granted, we do have 5 of the plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I was trying not to say that part.
Yeah, we have 5. We do have 5 of the +2s.
Oh, look at
Still
this.
left.
Out of the blue. Went over to the blue, and we ran out of that pretty quickly, and we're back into a little draw city here.
Yeah, 18 cards left in the deck. And still plenty of options for blue, actually. I mean, we have both reverses, still have a skip, have one of the +2s. Number-wise, there's still a lot. I mean, only out of the 0, the 3, 7, 8, and 9. So
we're potentially
like
out of the
there's no
green. May have drawn a green here a little bit in this draw city. Who knows? Out of the blue.
Fingers crossed we haven't.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed we haven't. I don't want to get back to green right now. Especially when there's only 2 of the greens left in the entire Earth. Is it 2 or is it? It's 3 of the greens because of the +2. Brad's still drawing. I don't remember who's got this card. I don't remember. I remember Turner's the 5. I don't remember. Oh, this one's the Lane. This is the Lane card. Oh, speaking of, there's Turner's card.
Yep. We'll see
Speaking
Jesse.
into existence.
See Jesse in action later on tonight against Edward. Is it Zimba? Zimba?
Ziemba.
Ziemba. Okay. Fortunately, I'm not calling that matchup tonight, so I won't butcher that name numerous times. At least while the matchup's going on. I'll only butcher it here in the pre-show, if you will.
I'm surprised you wouldn't have known the name because I mean, obviously he hasn't been in any of your series then, because
No.
he is on the NR side.
Is he really?
Yeah.
You know, I would just cop out and just say Ed. I wouldn't even say the last name. I'd just be Ed or Edward. I could say those names.
As Ronald Blue again on the 1-up into the M card, who was in this pod.
But yeah, to finish that note, Jesse Turner versus Ed Z. We're calling him Ed Z. There we go. That works. Spider Region, 7 p.m. tonight.
There's the plug. Yeah, finally got that finished off.
Just took a couple of side streets before we eventually got to the destination.
Well, there's the other Turner card.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a little deja vu right there.
And only 2 5s left in the deck to be able to switch off of this. There's one of them. Please don't have the green 5. Please don't have. There we go. Okay, we avoided green. Why did I click hand? This game's been going on for too long.
You want to interject? You want to make it a triple threat here? Is that what you're doing?
Maybe that's what I was trying to do.
You're checking to see if you have the green 5.
Probably. That's what I might have been thinking. Oh, man.
So we run in the yellow. Yellow and red look like they'd probably be the 2 colors right now that these guys would be full of. As we were out in the green, we were out in the blue.
You would think, but I mean, we're also at the point where we're starting to run out of cards in the deck, so now a lot of it has been played. There's the yellow 0. So out of 0s now. There's the other yellow 3. So we're out of 3s.
As you said, a lot of +2s still potentially in play or waiting there in the remaining 15 cards of the deck. Could be holding on to them, both of them, in the hopes of maybe being able to have some kind of a string, some kind of a chain to end this game out. Well, but there they are. At least a couple of them.
Sets background back to 11, puts us with just 9 cards left in the deck.
Quad play there from Bad Brad.
Took us out of the 9s, took us out of the yellow +2s, leaves us with 1 reverse. Background keeps it cool, though.
Does Brad have a finish here at 3 cards? No. Iced out in the yellow.
And a nice play there because there's only the blue 2 left now. So it's not like backgrounds. There's not like there's much to be able to switch off of if you're Brad there.
So to your point, are we going into another draw city here?
As this game is going to make the board. A very authentic 26 minutes and counting.
Wow. And just a reminder for everybody, we've got Bowtie versus, again, another name I'm going to need your help on, Larugo? Larujo?
I've always said Larugo. I don't know if that's...
I have to call that game, and I'm going to butcher that one, too.
I just go with Lara.
Lara?
I always just go with Lara.
You know what? I like that. That's at 3 p.m., the Diablo region, but depending on the circumstances here, if this one rolls over longer than expected, that'll follow immediately after this game.
Well, usually we try and leave about a 15-minute break in between at the very least anyway. So,
right.
With at least warning the players saying, hey, this other stream went long. So we're down to 8 cards left in the deck on the blue 4 now.
So we are back into blue. You have to assume these cards being played were in that last draw city.
If it was going to be a color swap, it would be to red. That's the only 4 left in the deck. I'm just looking. Alright, we have 1 yellow card left in the entire deck. It's a yellow 7. Other than that, the yellows are all the way out.
There's another of the +2s.
Only 2 of those left. Also, the second blue reverse played there.
Double play, looking for the trips here.
Gets it to red and
go to the quad. Look at that. Okay.
Tried to play my card. I don't think it played properly. There, that should work.
There it is.
Oh, okay. It did play, it just didn't. It was delayed.
Took a little bit of time, yeah. And now with
Sometimes
6 cards left in the deck. 3 cards left for background, 5 for Brad.
Let's see. What do we got in red? We've got +2. We've got a reverse. Got a 7, got an 8. Obviously that 4 that I was mentioning. Now Brad having to try and think, does background have the finishing move here?
Odds increasing here that we may end up getting that deck reshuffle.
Nick, you have not missed much. We've had a marathon game 2 here as we near the 30-minute mark. Brad trying to think about what background could have in those final 3 cards.
We talk about, you know, the mental game, the mental exhaustion there can be when you're trying to think about all the different facets of Uno. How much more difficult when you start to get to this point, because you know we've got the opportunity here where, you know, we're sitting back, we're observing, we're not down there in the trenches of counting cards. When you've got to keep an eye on what's been played, what's left, right here on the precipice of maybe opening up Pandora's box and completely reshuffling the deck, bringing all that ammo back out into play. How does that got to be taxing mentally?
I think card history definitely eased some of that. I've played some of these games before when we didn't have card history, and I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of times where I was just hoping and praying, trying to think about what had been played. Card history allows for a little bit better because then you can kind of think about what's been played, what hasn't. There's double skip. I mean, I don't make that move if we don't have the card history, truthfully. There's so much, there's so little bit of ammo left once you know that what the card history is, that I think it opens that door to being able to do these draws on a skip like that a little bit more easier.
Yeah, we've raved about the new abilities of this bot. That card history definitely helping out. I remember back before the card history feature was available, a buddy of ours who's in this tournament actually moved on to the Tire 32 round, Carson Gum. There's a Steam game called Tabletop Simulator where you can actually play Uno, and he would actually utilize that game to keep track of what cards were played and what cards were still available. Had his own kind of card history little setup there, but now not having to utilize something like that, it's available for everybody to be able to use here on the Discord side.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the helpful parts. I mean, granted, for Carson loses that advantage that he would have had doing that, but
Right.
it's pretty unique. Anything that you sometimes can do, and KT was just able to do it off of memory. I mean, props to him. I wasn't able to.
Don't know how.
I think Fitzy was in that where he could know a little bit on like longer games. So it's one of those things. It's I think the more mental side of it now with these type of games is just that concentration. It's so easy to lapse in concentration, and there's players that you get them into this point, they're just kind of wanting to get it over with sometimes, and this can be a huge momentum game. Whoever wins this one might be able to just set sail on it.
We've eclipsed half an hour. We're now over 33 minutes here into just our second game. Brad taking the first one in a little under 8 minutes. It has been back and forth, and we're about to get a nice grasp on the stick, take a swing at the pinata, and fly the ammo candy everywhere here in just a moment. Only one card left in the deck here.
Let's see. Looking at what we've got in terms of blue, both +2s, a 0, both 1s, both 2s, both 3s, both 4s, 5s, 6, 7. Oh, we are literally out of blue. We literally are out of blue.
We have depleted the blue.
And there's no 2s. So what's the wait? There's the only thing that could be played here is a wild. That is legit the only thing that could be played. So, does Brad have a wild? Does he choose to use it here?
So we're at 4 and 6 cards. That's gonna be interesting. We'll end up having to obviously be at 5 and 6 cards if Brad doesn't choose to play the wild here. That's an interesting number of cards to have left when you've got all that ammo reshuffled back in the deck. It's not like we're starting, this brand new reshuffled deck with 11 cards apiece, 12 cards apiece in that mid-tier range. We're down in the low-tier range to have all that ammo back in play.
So Brad doesn't have a wild. I mean, one of them's got to have at least a wild, right? I mean, there's no cards left.
Right.
Now it's just a matter who does someone choose to play it.
I mean, probably not. If you didn't have a finish to the end, you're probably keeping that for when the reshuffle happens. That way you're guaranteed having some kind of a special card.
Well, time to see what background chooses to do. He goes for the reshuffle.
We get a reshuffle.
At the 35-minute mark.
Whoa, boy.
Thank you, Nick, our defending champion. Rocking that #1 plate and the Buy Island. And now everything's back in play.
So here we go. New chapter getting ready to be written in this long story. We're even at 6.
Blue 7 there from background. We'll see. 1 up this time from Brad. I guess the one thing to note, I guess, if you're Brad here, is you at least know that until background draws, he's not going to have one of the +4s.
Correct.
That's the good. So Brad's drawn. He could, in theory, have. Well, actually, I guess background could technically have it because they had to draw for the reshuffle. But so at most, either player's only got one of the +4s, and that's going back to that mental side. I mean, that's so easy to make a mistake like that where you're thinking that they can't have the card, but technically, background started the reshuffle, so
Yeah,
he would
we
have gone
know
whatever.
at least 3, right? At least 3 of the +4s that background got, he drew.
I mean, we'd have to ask. I guess ask him
2
how
of
many of
them,
those
absolutely,
he
he drew. The third one, potentially. He might have had 1 off the draw.
Well, now we're draw city again, so very easily could be adding those +4s back in play.
Yes, we could.
Both players showing off the ability to rock draw city. It's not a common skill. Some players definitely have vocally despised draw cities.
I mean, at this point in time, they both should just, like, buy a timeshare there, right?
I think
It's
so.
not
I
an
mean,
occasional visit. I mean, they're there for some pretty extended stays.
and yeah, the Draw City Motel has gotten a lot of business today.
Yes, it has.
Not bad for a city that only has a population of 2 at a time.
Well, it would have to have a population of 3, because, I mean, who's running the hotel?
You check yourself in, right? I
you
mean,
check yourself in, you check yourself out, you're your own maid.
yeah, it's not a comfy setup, but hey,
So it's like a Airbnb hotel, I guess, in a way.
yeah,
We'll give you the
let's go on
code,
that.
we'll give you, all the Wi-Fi passwords and everything, but you're on your own.
Good time to probably look at some of the other stats so far. Obviously, background the 4-0 advantage on +4s. Brad, an interesting 10-1 advantage on skips so far. Also rocks a 3-card advantage on the +2 6-3.
Yeah, we've definitely seen Brad have the advantage on the mid-tier ammo, but again, all the +4s have been in the camp of background.
As we're at that funny number again for cards. Brad's still. Oh my goodness! Background with a level up. Let's go.
There you go. Took 4 draw cities and a reshuffle.
And 40 minutes of play. Like legit, we are nearing the 40-minute mark of this. We're gonna rival Turner versus Dark at this rate for an
Wow.
individual game.
How far down in the deck were these blues reshuffled? I mean, you've got the option, too, of, maybe breaking off into another color if you've got the 8, but it's a matter of getting to those cards here, and now a 80, well, it is now 80, I was going to say 80-plus card deck.
Yeah, obviously, I can't look at the stats to try and... I can't click off of the tab I'm on to look for what the longest games are and where we're at in terms of this, but it's definitely high up on that list already at this point.
I mean, one would think that we're, at this point in time, having a couple blue cards be drawn, but are we ammo searching right now? I mean, hands have to be depleted as far as ammo was concerned from what we saw, what was available near the end just before the reshuffles. Are we, like, literally digging and clawing and scratching to try and find some ammunition here right now because all we're stuck with is numbers?
I'd almost think that's part of it. We are nearing the point though where might have to beg the question on whether or not background's got blue, because background's now up to 16 cards.
Oh, Brad had blue right there.
Yep, gets a top deck on the 5. Thank you, Nick. Once we pass 42 minutes, we'll be in the 6th longest. I know that I have one of the games that's longer than this. It's not the longest game, but I know that me and Jonah, who was an Australian that we had back in 2023 in the league, we had a 48-minute marathon game that I think I also had comeback territory on it at one point. So, because he would get to Uno and I'd keep using a +2 on him to stall him out because he gave me like all these cards.
Well, we're getting closer to that. Would you say 48 minutes?
Yeah, mine was
so
it was
we're
like 48 minutes.
A little over 5 minutes away from that.
That's 6, yeah.
Back into the draw
This was
city
back-
again after the skip draw
It was
play
before
there
we
from
had
background.
seconds. We didn't have seconds back then. It was just strictly as 48 minutes.
Oh,
so
right.
it was somewhere past 48, but not quite to 49. As back into draw city, and this time on a skip. Which again, there's a lot of skips that were dealt back out.
We started this game at a 13-card start. And after a reshuffle, we are up past that now. 17 cards for background. 14 cards for Bad Brad, short chiming in what's going on here.
We had 4 different draws. Sid.
You
Wonderful.
know, nobody had anything to do here on a Friday afternoon, so we decided to just extend this game for, almost 3/4 of an hour. That's all.
Didn't help. We ran out of blue cards.
Yeah.
As there's a one up this time. Back into the. Do you have any deadlines? Oh boy. Nick with the thought of the day there, yes. I got a few hours as well. We got plenty of time. Nothing but time. We're on the Polar Express at this point. Time, what is time?
Punch my ticket, Tom Hanks.
There's the Yepes card. He was in the VC with us for a moment or two there.
And here we go. We finally got off the blue.
Finally got cards that we can play.
Citizens of Draw City rejoice.
Rainbow! Let's pop the Skittles.
Skittles! That was not the candy I was referring to that was going to fly out of the pinata when we ended up having the reshuffle, but...
It works.
It works.
We've now officially had everything in... Oh my gosh! We've officially had everything in this game. We've had Dittos. We've had Draw Cities. We've had one player have all the +4s.
Yep.
We've had Skittles. I think I've mentioned Skittles already. We've had... Yeah, it's had it all.
We've had me butchering last names, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Butchering player names in general?
Yeah.
Brad's still with nothing on yellow. And now Brad's the one that's nearing 20.
Background going to continue to run in yellow. Oh, not for long. There's the swap over to the red.
Got the DJ Curtis going. Okay, let's place bets as well while we're at it. I mean, how many +4s do you think Background's drawn now that he hasn't decided to play? How many of those 4
Oh, man. Let's see. 10 cards left. We spent about 4 hours in Draw City. I'll say at least 1.
I'll say he's got 2.
You think he's got 2? All right.
I'll say he's got 2 back in that hand now. And Brad still has none.
Brad brings it back to red. Awesome. Look at that. Does he ice out Background in red? Do we see maybe one of those... Nope, I was going to say one of those draw 4s that we're assuming he might have possibly drawn, but a little double play there instead with the +2.
I know for a fact. I'm going to check to see where this game ranks on the longest games when we get a chance after it, when I'm not having the scoreboard going.
We've just eclipsed 46 minutes.
Yeah. Red 8 this time. Into a green wild.
Okay, not a plus
So,
4, but it's a
wild.
wild. Brad bound and determined to stay in the red background, trying to get it over to the green. I believe these two had a back and forth with these two colors at the early stages of this game as well, where Brad wanted to run in red and background wanted to run in green.
Can't remember if it was this game, but I know that they definitely had the back and forth wild in game 1, I think.
Oh, maybe it was game 1. It was so long ago, I
don't
don't remember now.
I don't remember. Well, not to mention the old man brain in there, yeah.
Yeah,
That too.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that, but thanks for bringing that to light.
There's the green 9 again! Long time no see.
Oh yeah, it's been so long I forgot that that's what we've had for our starting card on both games so far as well.
Yeah. Green 1 as we pass the 47-minute mark. I mean, we've had so much going on in this game, I had to bring up the old man brain.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Caesar, we have gone for 47 minutes in this game alone. And this is game 2. Oh, Caesar's not even in the chat.
There's the green 5, both of them. Wasn't that the last green that was left when we were near the end of the deck there? I think it was the last green that was available was the green 5. There's both of them right there.
Caesar is the skeleton from the gate in Coco. I don't blame him either. This has been an insane game as we now pass the 48-minute mark, so it's nearing the me versus Jonah marathon game, which I think is 2nd or 3rd all time. Like I said, I don't remember exactly where that ranked. Double green reverse.
Trips play, maybe a quad.
Just a triple.
Triple play, down to 3 cards left for background.
Yeah, but that's like a spot where Brad's gonna find the one color he doesn't have somehow.
Yep. Which I believe would be red.
That would be at least one of them.
And there it is.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Nick.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, in terms of D1, yes, we are at the 3rd longest game.
Oh.
The next one that flips
It's over. Nope, it's over. It's over. Stop the count. Brad tried to ice out on red. Background had the red skip into the 5th +4 that he played this game. Caps it off. And after just over 49
Just
minutes.
Under 49.
Gracious.
Just under 49.
Yeah, 5 +4s. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh. The 3rd longest D1 game we have had behind Turner and Dark and Fitzwater G-Man.
Gracious. That was only our second game, folks. There's still more to come. That draws it back to a 1-1 tie.
We've got at least 3 more games left.
Oh, Brad, I'm exhausted. I'll bet you're exhausted, but man, what a back and forth lengthy marathon of a game there. At least 3 or 4 times, background down to 2 or 3 cards, you were able to bring him back, but kind of tough to fight against those +4s there. I mean, you put up a great fight. What was something that you maybe needed to turn the tide at any point in this game? We got background saying had all those +4s in one game. Won't have another all series. Started with 3 zeros. All but yellow, and that wild play on green 0 stopped him from winning. Yeah, Brad did a great job several times of playing just that right card to be able to keep background from drawing this series back even. Oh, he said he would have won way earlier with the power play.
Oh, yeah, both of them did.
Would have ended the game in 10 minutes.
That's about the only question I've got. I mean, Marath, 2 of them.
He had 2 of them. Okay. So drew 2 of them, had 2 of them, and then drew another one after we had the reshuffle. Could have switched to
Oh
yellow
man,
again, thinking all
anyone
last cards were
you
yellow.
need a break for that.
Yeah, it's got to be so tough, too, when you end up having those lengthy draw cities after a reshuffle of being able to figure out, what color is the person out of, because, could maybe have one of a yellow, one of a green, and then all the rest red. You're thinking, oh, they're just running in red. I'll play this color. Oh, no, wait, they've got one. You got to rethink the strategy again.
Oh man, what a
Both
game
of
there.
both of them saving the power play at least here for later on in this matchup. As I said, they both could have used it and ended it here, but then you'd go into, depending on who was the winner, whether it be Brad, then you'd be going into the next, potentially 4 games.
Oh, we got best of 5 now.
Yep.
Are we ready for game 3?
I think we are. I think we're set to go.
7.
Going with 7. All right.
Yoji, and then I will definitely take my own break. Just really quickly.
Okay. I think a lot of people are going to be taking a break after that one. 49 minutes that second game went. As now the series tied up 1 apiece between Bad Brad and Background. We kicked things off with the yellow. We didn't start with the green 9. There's a yellow 9. But we didn't get 3 games in a row starting with the green 9. Brad with a little double play there. Into the yellow 7. Brings it to within 4. And out on the yellow will be Background. Brad now able to run. And iced out himself. We'll go into a draw city here. Both players iced out on the yellow. Brad continues with the draw. Winner of this match goes on to face Caesar in the Spider region in Tire 32.
Realized I
Brad able
forgot to
top deck there with the yellow 6.
forgot to start the clock. Whoops. I'll catch it up at a moment or later whenever I can.
Alrighty.
So.
Swapped over into the green. So now more
Double
options
skip.
available here.
I love when it goes, here we go again when they had the draw city going. Half off into, I believe. No, that's not the. I want to say it's Radin, but I don't think it is. Either way. Double up there into the green 4 now. Also, I see that we finally got off of a green 9 to start at least.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was kind of looking forward to seeing a third green 9. We had a yellow 9 there in the early stages, but no green 9. Speaking of green, we're now off that into the red. Brad now down to 2 cards.
And just needing blue for Pandora's box.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Kept it red, but set him back a little
It's
bit.
getting to the point now Brad doesn't want to see another +4 card for the entire rest of the series.
I thought it was red, and I remembered it being a different icon on it. Last I saw, I thought it was still the Iranian flag, not the face.
That now puts Brad back to 6. Half that for Background at 3. Brad with 4 fresh cards, though. See what he does with those. And he will answer
Still
back
cannot find a +4.
with the blue wild.
Opens Pandora's box a little bit for us there. At least a half open. There it is, now fully opened.
Background will run with it.
Gets down to 2.
What does Brad have set up? He initiated the move over to blue.
Yep.
There it is.
I
Yep.
knew almost it had to be for the +2 because
Yep.
there's no way that he sets that up without.
Oh,
Just the normal wild this time for background.
brings it back to the red, though. You have to assume he got that wild off that +2.
Maybe, maybe not. Could have had it as a failsafe to.
Oh, that's a good point as well. Yeah. Tied up at 3.
Although
Brad had red in reserve. Oh,
background had his own +2.
yes, he did. Is this a finish?
Could be.
No.
No.
Checks at the red 9. Brad now with
Plenty
4
of
cards.
options
Yep.
there. Could color swap. Has plenty of red options there. Still has a +2.
2 regular wilds off the table.
Could have reverse skip.
Oh, wow.
He has Uno.
He answers right back with a ditto double play right there.
Oh wait. No, it's false Uno. Down
Oh.
to 2. Now it's Uno.
Now it's Uno.
Does background have Uno though? Could have double Uno here.
Does he have a finish? Depending on what he might have gotten off that +2 played on him by Bad Brad. I believe it was red with numbers at the end game 1 that Bad Brad was able to win with. Oh, out on the red. Is this for a 2-1 advantage for Brad?
No.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Red 3. Brad going for the Uno call out, but background's only at 2 cards.
You're on Uno, not me. Well, no, even
Actually,
he's not.
neither of them are on Uno. They're both at 2 cards.
There's the Uno on the green switch to Radin. Is that gonna? It's gonna give background. We've got double Uno. Is that
Double
game?
Uno. Brad had the possession advantage. Does
No.
not have the finish. Does background
Neither
have the
do.
finish? Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Didn't have the finish
So
on
close.
the red one. Didn't have the finish on the green one.
Okay, I'm still trying to get like caught up on the timer. That should catch that up. All right. Wow. So close to glory there. That would have been
Twice.
We've had double Uno before, and I don't think we've ever had a situation where it was double Uno and both players had it. I could be wrong. That's interesting.
Double play into a draw. Just gets rid of that green skip.
Well, it was a skip into draw. It's not really it wasn't a double play.
Oh yeah,
Gives him the possession arrow though.
it does. Brad gonna play
Only
cool.
briefly if we can play here though. Ooh.
There's the swap.
Okay.
Into the yellow. Have we been into yellow yet this game?
We have. It's been a while though.
I was gonna say.
The last yellow was back 6 minutes ago.
Oh.
Oh. I
Into
blinked.
check with the blue wild.
That's
Brad
game.
will. Yep, nothing Brad can do.
Unless, yeah, I was gonna say unless it's the fake wild, but I don't think anyone other than me is pulling off that play.
Oh, and KT's last was also a blue. So the wild went to the color he needed. He just didn't have. He had just numbers, I guess, there at the end. And the possession was in favor of background, who now takes a 2-1 advantage in this series.
Well, it's only the +4s though that's been lopsided.
Yeah. No, they've been pretty even, it looks like, on the regular wilds. But the +4 advantage has definitely gone in the favor of background. Well,
I mean,
Brad,
even
a couple of times there that the both of you were down there at Uno. Was it the blue? Was it you needed to get to the blue there at the end to be able to finish it out on both cases?
Yeah, like my last two cards were just blue. Like I had blue earlier. Oh well.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 5-5 though, so it's even.
See if Charles, if you have any question
I'm,
there for background.
was saying, I'm trying to think of what would be a good one to ask. Trying to look back through. Was there really any? Problem is, I'm not. KT's always better on a question asking than I am.
And we already know that with the Game 4 possession going to background, he said that we're going to be going down to the
Yeah, I don't got
lowest floor.
Actually, I can do this. Thanks.
As Charles types out that question there for background, we'll bring up the schedule once again here. Still to go later on today at 3 o'clock. You got Bo versus Lara. That's what I'm gonna call it, at least for the time being. 7 o'clock. You got JT taking on Edward Z, and then non-stream game at 9 p.m. with Chomic taking on Austin Rogers in the Diablo region. Cap off the night in the Mustang region, 10 p.m. After Dark with Dark taking on the 7-seeded Logan.
That's about the best question I got. It's not really gameplay related, but kind of is. Clearly getting the +4 look. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's the +4 that's really kind of just like shifting the balance here, and it can easily even out if Brad ends up getting some +4s here in the upcoming game, next couple of games?
I think. Well, we've it's not impossible to fight back from +4s. We saw Lane do it last tournament, but the problem is when when Lane fought back on it before, is because his opponent at least also wasn't getting one of them. We're seeing background still getting all the other cards that go with it, which makes that much harder. I think.
All right, well,
I do need to get this. Do need that.
we saw the
Okay.
call there by background. 5 cards here in game number 4. Up 2-1 on Brad, who looks to draw it back even at 2-2.
And we're set to go.
Blue 8 going to kick this thing off. So we've started in green, yellow, and blue.
Obviously, no power play on the first turn, which does make this a little bit more challenging.
Yep.
Double play immediately for background.
How often have you seen
Trying to
somebody
think.
actually in a 5-card start actually win the game, not have to draw any cards?
It actually has happened. KT's not very proud of it because
Oh, wow. We're already down to Uno. Already down to check here for
Yeah.
background.
I will say that KT wasn't too proud of it because the player that did it power played on the first turn, which they're not supposed to do, and we
Oh.
accidentally let them do it. And so they won on technically 2 turns. Finally? What?
You have a +4? I finally had a
he's
+4!
got a +4! Kept it red. No. Actually, I don't mind that one on the table talk. Sometimes I don't like people at table talks. There's times where I don't mind it. That one's a good one.
That is a good one. And ice is out on the red as well. So not only draws him back from the potential win, but also now able to run in the red is Brad.
Brad looking to get to 2. Got a little in-car audio there from Brad.
Oh, you can hear me.
Oh. Just briefly, can't tell what you had said, but
And now Brad iced down the red as well, but with the card advantage at least at this point in time. Now we'll go into Draw City, see who's going to blink first. There it is, Brad with the swap over to blue.
Yep. Oh, and background 2 color strat on a 5-card start. Trip 7 from Brad to get to yellow.
Brad down to 2.
Playing
You said
aggressive here, I
potential-
don't mind it.
You said potential 2-card strat with the yellow and green possibly here for background. So let's see what he might have in yellow.
If he draws here, that would be stunning to be
Yeah.
down to just 1 color. It's not outlandish. Okay.
Brings it back to the red.
Hey, okay.
Again, I don't mind that play because both players were drawing on the red before. Background still has some red, though.
Might have gotten that red on the +4, potentially.
Well, or even the draw on blue.
Yep.
Could have.
Brad with the top
That's
deck.
Brad. Yep. One in the same brain there again.
No, you don't want to be the same brain with me. You don't want old man brain.
Well, we both thought the same exact phrase at the same moment, so. Green 4 there, into captain's card. I don't know why I tried to combine card and color into one
Could this
word.
be a finish right here? Or are we going for check?
Yeah.
And it is! Brad
Wow, I
draws
can't
it
look.
back to 2.
I got a top deck +4, finally.
He got the
Hold the
+4 luck.
tier.
Yeah,
Hold
I'm
the
only down
tier.
2 to 6 in terms of +4s now. That's great.
Well, and this, not surprisingly, this match is going to get onto the board for longest series now as well.
I mean, Brad, obviously, we saw there now, getting the luck with the +4s helped you have a little bit more freedom with what you wanted to do. Obviously, a lower card count, but at the same time, though, looked like you had pretty good strings there at several portions of this match.
I gotta have dinner, okay.
You can ask Brad the question, I
I
guess.
can you time my question? Cause like I gotta do something.
Huh?
I gotta do something while there's a break, so just type my question.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we're in a little halftime break, I guess we'll call it here.
Well, I don't think we expected 4 games to take an hour and 9 minutes.
Nope. Also, shout out Joey Chestnut.
Yep. There we go. There's backgrounds. There's backgrounds question. Let's see. What else do we got for filling time? Nick, what do you? We'll go to you a little bit. What do you think about this series so far? Then, while we're in a little halftime break here, tied at 2. I gotta do better asking questions. Okay. So background saying, not really my strategy to call now, just hope I have enough luck to be able to close it out in the final 3 games. With this,
We know we're
you
at
have more
least
freedoms.
we know we're at least going to be going to Game 6 with it
Yep.
tied up 2 apiece. They both have the power play still available here as well. And we've seen Brad. I don't know as much about background. I don't have much background on background, if you will. But I've seen Brad in the past. He's not been afraid to use the power play early, middle of a series. A lot of people like to save that power play for late. With it being not at 2 apiece, and really, when you think about it, a big bunch of momentum will go to whoever wins this 3rd game on either side, being just 1 win away from taking the entire series. Do we start to think about the power play at this point in time, just in terms of momentum alone?
Oh, you definitely have to think about it here. I think if you're going to choose a time in a best of 7 series, like as a opportune moment to guarantee that you are going to use it, I always circle the game 5s when it is tied at 2 because there's so much momentum and it's a lot easier to win 1 game without a power play than having to worry about making sure that you win back-to-back games, because that opportunity to use it to win in game 6 might not come for you, or even in game 7. So if you've held on to it for this long, game 5 is definitely a good spot to use it when tied at 2. Brad mentioning that on the question, it's nice to have +4s. Shouldn't count on having them every game. You still need to work with what you got. And Nick on the chime in saying, it's been interesting so far for the series. We'll see if there's any form of whiplash in terms of +4s like we've seen in the past, or if Brad is going to have to work around not getting many of them the rest of the series. Either way, we know that both are putting a lot of thought and effort into every move, and should be a great rest of the series. I think Nick bringing up a good point there as well. This is a bot that we've seen whiplash on before. I don't think we've seen much of it so far. I mean, there wasn't really much in terms of whiplash from the game 2 where we saw all 5, or we saw the 5 +4s go to background. So I think we're still due for some of that whiplash a little bit. But definitely, so far, a great series. I can't complain anytime a series got a 48-minute game in it, truthfully. No. That's impressive.
No, that shows that both players very well balanced in knowing when to be offensive and defensive in their play style. Just that one part there of Nick's thing. both putting a lot of thought and effort into every move. That has definitely been the case in all 4 of these matches, but the ball now is in the court of Bad Brad. He gets the home game advantage here in the upcoming pivotal Game 5.
Yeah, we can set it up. Let's see. Yeah, that would work. I'll put it in, but we'll still wait for background to come back first before
Okay.
officially starting it.
Oh, is he not back yet?
He hasn't. Oh,
Because he answered your question.
he answered the question.
He said he was gonna be back
Um,
in a minute.
oh, I said minute most. Okay,
Yeah, so
let me just make sure.
if he's not there, then we'll wait. But we'll see here.
Just want to make sure first.
Okay, we good. We good to roll. All right,
And there's the red start that we'd been missing.
14 card
Okay,
start. Highest card start we've had so far here in this series.
A lot of ammo that could have potentially been dealt.
Brad goes 1 up to the red 3. I think you'll see a little bit of a slow play style here in the early going with that many cards.
That's what it looks like.
You'll formulate a strategy.
Now we go up towards the top of the numbers at least. Oh, there's the other red 2. So within 5 cards, we've used up both 2s.
And Brad out
to
red early on. Background still able to run with it though.
Yep, double up special plus squaring it.
Okay, math teacher, calm down.
Hey, I gotta. Hey, color swap there that time though.
Brad brings it over to the yellow. We'll see what background does with this color change. And
One down this time into the monkey.
I don't know what that icon is, but every time I see it, I think it's sweet potato fries.
So apparently for whatever reason, monkey chose carrots.
Oh, okay.
So
Make fries
yeah,
out of carrots, right?
yeah, totally.
You can deep
Swap
fry
over to
anything.
blue now. Brad going very aggressive on the color swaps now this game. Taking a huge advantage in the color swaps. 7 swap advantage, 33 to 26.
He's initiated every color swap, I believe, this game so far. From the red to the yellow to the blue, and now the blue to the green.
Multiplies the result by 3 this time.
Background, 1 down to the 5. Right now, card number advantage to background.
Yep, a 2 possession lead, basically. Brad content to roll with the numbers, though. Gotta wonder when we're going to run out of them.
Looks like both players right now just trying to deplete as many of the numbers as possible. Question, when we had that high 14 card start, what ammo was distributed and maybe being kept in reserve, continuing to run in the mid-tier numbers of green?
Definitely feels like that calm before the storm as both players nearing that red zone. I find it hard to believe that there'd be double 14 numbered hands here as background rolling. Triple. Down to 2, looking for check.
And
That's game.
That's game. That's game. The 5 bagger from the blue to the yellow. No power play needed here in game 5. Up 3-2 for background.
Finally, my first quick win of the year. Yeah, I mean, wow, that is
Under 4 minutes.
insane. Look at the 1 second difference between a 5-card start and the 14.
Wow.
Okay, I was off a little bit still.
So low tier, high tier, didn't matter. In games 4 and 5, very quick end for Brad in game 4. Background here in game 5. Brad now going to be looking to draw it even for a potential game 7. Background with a chance to take the series here in the upcoming game 6. Brad will have the home field advantage, however. Brad, I mean, again, it kind of looked like both of you mirroring each other. You both got it into the green, running in those mid-tier cards, trying to deplete down to ammo. We saw, obviously, the ammo here on background side. What was the ammo you had stored up? Did you have a finish as well? Was it maybe one of those cases of just the preemptive strike, one play too early?
Well, like I had a +4 in a while, but that was it. I didn't have any skips or reverses really. So like I wanted to wait to use that. Like I was gonna wait probably like the next turn, but I did not expect the 5-card run. And I didn't have a way to make a long run myself.
So the ammo distribution seems like it was fairly even there, but you heard from Brad, just didn't have the skips or the reverses to be able to have a chain like we saw background be able to have there at the close of this one. Charles working on the question there for background. It
Going with,
definitely
looked like that was very much plan A for background. Was this just down to playing more patience than he had in the previous games to save the ammo for last?
Yeah, did we have?
I don't
had
think
a-
he drew. I didn't see a draw.
I don't think so either. Although, wait, they both, I think at one point were iced out on red.
I had the opportunity to be honest. I've noticed he likes to answer these in like 2 parts. So he'll send the first part of it and then he'll like hit enter and then send a second sentence after.
No, you're right, Charles. It was a plan A. No drawn cards there for background.
Never had to draw over playing and never really felt threatened. Yeah, so never had to worry about whether or not Brad had a run or anything like that.
Well,
So
Brad
now he
trying-
also has the power play lock a little bit. He can use the power play to win a game. Just has to win one of the next 2. So
Brad trying to get the revenge from the early elimination in T1. On the brink right now, he does have the advantage in the call here for home game in game 6, looking to draw it back even, force a game 7. We'll wait for the typing there for both Charles and background, and then we will get into that crucial.
without going to green exactly then and staying on it would have been different. Full send from background.
Wait, does background have the call?
Should. Isn't he? Game 6.
Game 6. Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I got it all flip reversed. Never mind.
Seth, are you okay?
No, I'm not. But thanks for asking. Appreciate the concern. Anyway, full send. Those last 30 seconds never happened.
Yeah, totally not. Both players with a good luck to each other and a yellow monkey 3 to begin.
Well, we saw a quick end to a 5-card start. In Game 4, a quick end to a 14-card start. Most recently in Game 5, now with the full send. Quick early color swap there from background.
Yeah, and a lot of times what I've noticed, especially with this bot, 15-card starts, very typically come down to who can get a run first, because they usually like to have ammo dealt out to both players. Who has the ammo that lines up well enough is going to be the question as we get another color swap.
And so many times, to your point there, with the high card draws, we'll hear people say, if I had just done the run one turn sooner. Sometimes it's just being one turn late, and the person on the other side also has a run, and if they play theirs before you play yours, it's just too little too late.
As we got a little mini straight going on, started with the blue 5, now down to a blue 3.
Oh, we broke the straight right there.
Yep.
Running in the blue, much like we had in the... Oh, the pun is back!
Oh my god.
We're running in blue, much like we did in that last game where we ran in green for a while. Now we swap over to the yellow.
Yeah, and that would have been the last chance to really get that swap too, because we had just run out of the blue 4 as we get ready to have Yoshi and Radin start their match officially. They were supposed to play before this game, but we had a little bit of an issue there. Quad play into the blue wild though for background. Maybe a little bit of a warning shot.
Brings it down to 7. Brad iced out on the blue? Wow. Background able to run. Brad brings it back to the yellow, which was the color that background swapped off of, and there you go. Iced him out. Good play there by Brad.
Yep, solid play there. Gets background now having to move backwards a little bit. And Brad can just play the numbers as much as he wants to.
But now the swap to the green by background. See what Brad does here. He'll run the green as well. Plays it cool. 1 down. All the way down bottom floor. In the green for background. Possession advantage. The Dolly Parton, 9-5. I've been told by KT that that's one of your favorite sayings.
That is one of mine. Yes, usually I save it for when it's the cards 9-5, but yeah.
There's a 9-5.
Triple play
time
there.
to say it.
Oh,
we're into a quad.
Wait.
Oh wait. Okay, the yellow 9. He's thinking about games 1 and 2 when the green 9 was the first card.
Right?
I think.
Yeah, clearly had the green 9 on brain.
Brings it back to the yellow though, which iced out background before, ices him out again. Brad now with the advantage, 1 card possession.
And keeps the yellow, goes with the yellow too.
Seen some jabs here. We've seen some reverses. We've seen some skips. We haven't seen a knockout punch yet.
Getting into that territory though, both players into the red zone.
Brad brings it back to green. Iced out on the green background. 2-color suit.
Brad over to the 5. Lost on the plank card.
Down to 2 cards. In the vicinity here of a potential knockout blow to tie this thing up. 3-3.
Draws. Not surprised. Waited for the power play, so probably wasn't a situation where he was going to have the run to the end.
Now in the green advantage, potentially running over to background, able to run in said color. Brad brings it back to the red. Background with the power play. Brings it back to green.
+2. Just has to get the Uno call in as well. It does.
He does, and that is it. With the triple play at the end off the power play.
Wow.
7-2. The only ammo I had all that game was like the 4-card chain. I had no +2s or wilds or anything.
Wow.
I even had my last 2 cards were all reds there. If he has the same amount as I did, I would have won probably.
And how tough is that situation? You talk about having all red there. We saw you draw it back to yellow several times to ice him out, but how tough is that to know that you have the option to bring it back to yellow, but at the same time, you might be also playing into his hands if you end up bringing it over to the red, which you obviously needed. And Charles talked about the fact that when you were down there to the two cards, you then decided to draw. Was there an opportunity with a power play to be able to finish this thing out, or did you just not have the chain
No,
necessary where the power play wouldn't come into play at all?
I never had a chance where I could power play this game and win. The closest thing was like right at the end. I had 3 red numbers left, but that's it.
So a 4-2 win for background over Bad Brad. Unfortunately for Brad, his second straight tournament with an exit in the first round. Got background saying he made a mistake with that last Uno draw. Could have won 2 turns before that. Got lucky to draw a wild. I said that deserved to be a Game 7. I mean, with what we saw here, the back and forth, definitely would not have been shocked if we had seen this thing go into a Game 7. But background will move on. He will face off against Caesar in the Spider region of Tire 32. Charles, we end up seeing, what'd you say was our 3rd longest game, and this will definitely be up there in the conversation for longest series. May end up getting longest series here of T2, one would certainly think.
It definitely could. To get longest series ever, it'd have to get up to 2 hours, so definitely did not get anywhere close to that.
Well, with that super long second game, as okay. But yeah, at the end of that super long game, though, definitely a shocker that we are actually going to have this series wrapped up before the 3 p.m. marker, when we're going to be having Bo versus Lara in the Diablo region. We do have an updated schedule here. We'll show the bracket. As background, we'll be moving on, facing off against Caesar. Winner of that going to be going up against the winner of Toaster Guy and Monkey. And we'll show you the updated schedule here in just one moment.
That down. Why did that know?
Here it is. Here's the updated schedule. Shout out to Short for having that available for us. See the result of this game. We've got Yoshi Awesome that is going on at 3 o'clock. You mentioned that, Charles, a little reschedule for those two, Yoshi Awesome and Radin. We got the stream game here coming up next. Bo versus Lara. 7 p.m. Jesse Turner versus Ed Z. Those stream games, along with 10 o'clock tonight, Logan versus Dark. And in between those, 9 p.m. Chomik taking on Austin Rogers. So the first of a half dozen games to be played here this afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in to this one. Keep it here, because in just mere moments, we're going to be bringing you the second streamed game of the afternoon. Bo taking on Lara in the Diablo region. Thanks to Charles for his help on commentary here, as well as refereeing this game, as background moves on to face Caesar in Tire 32 here for the Spider region. Until the next game coming up here in just a moment, thanks for tuning in to the Automotive April tournament here for 2025 for MRE Uno tournament. We'll see you guys in just a little bit.
This has been a presentation of MRE Uno Division 1.